Happy Monday to the Ungovernables, the Captain's Crew, the LFA family, McGroin Nation, coming to you live from the deep red state of Tennessee on rumble.com/LFA TV. Welcome to Ungoverned on this very last Monday, of August. Can you believe it? 63 degrees this morning in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Brennan's got fall basically exploding all over the house. She's got fall soon. It's looking like a Walmart in here, you know.
No. It looks like Hobby Lobby in here.
Yeah, well,
Walmart.
What I'm saying is,
excuse me,
a retail store that goes
Walmart.
well advance of the actual season. We've had fallout for 3 weeks.
Meanwhile, I'm gonna go hurl in the corner because our house looks like Walmart.
It looks like a retail store with all the out in front of the season. You know, they put like Halloween decorations in Costco out in like July.
Don't worry about it.
Oh, it's all good. It's 63 degrees this morning in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Dry, and it's just nice. So fall is in the air. Someone said to me on X, it's a false fall. Feels real enough to me. Don't care. I think it's great. I'll take it. I will take it because you know what usually happens. Then you get into like October. And it's like, okay, it's still hot. What's going on? I know Wawa's got their pumpkin spice coffee out. Dunkin' Donuts does as well. I don't know about Starbucks because I don't like that company. But hey, fall is in the air is the point. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, today is deportation day, except what? Apparently they filed to block his deportation. Why are you blocking his deportation? He's not supposed to be here. He's in the country illegally, okay? Illegally. But apparently they are trying to block his deportation, and unfortunately, it might get blocked. Why might it get blocked? Because according to Eric Doherty from Florida's Voice, he's all over it these days. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, his lawyers filed to block the impending deportation, and Obama Judge Paula Zenas got the case. So we will see if, in fact, the deportation of Kilmar-Garitaville is blocked or what happens. So we will just have to see. But anyway, we will get to Donald Trump. Not federalizing, but mobilizing the National Guard around the country to crack down on crime. You got Zohran Mamdani. Oh, geez. The next mayor of New York City. Yuck. Probably the next mayor of New York City, unless, well, they are going to need a miracle in New York City to prevent that. But Zohran Mamdani pledging to take an even softer on crime approach. We know how that's going to work, so we have that. Here we go. She's back. Oh, speaking of this, you see this right here? Who is this?
That's Letitia James.
Don't feed the Sasquatch. Now, two things. One, a happy belated birthday to Anita McGroin from the Dan Bongino chat, the queen of the Dan Bongino chat. That's number one. Number two,
happy birthday.
A happy, because we said Sasquatch.
Yep.
So whose birthday would it be today if we say Sasquatch? Not Letitia James. We like this person.
Today?
Yes, today. It's their birthday. Today, we happen to like this person. Big Sasquatch believer.
Oh.
She's got it. Brendan's got it.
Tim,
yes. Happy birthday to Congressman Tim Burchett from East Tennessee, who gave some really funny remarks at Tennessee Statesman's Dinner over the weekend, which we were able to attend thanks to Wilson County Republican Party Chairman Brad Lytle, who we happen to like a lot. The Wilson County Republican Party is on fire, as they always are. Got to see a bunch of some real good friends up there, too. Greg and Melanie Homan, Brad and his wife. So many people that we got to see.
Yeah, that was really nice.
It was a good time.
They had us.
But, yes, it is also a happy birthday to Tim Burchett, who's a big Sasquatch believer. So, you know.
That's fun. And my mom's birthday's in a few days.
Yes, Gina's birthday is in a couple days. Gina's 30th birthday.
She's younger than I am. Wow.
So there you go.
Gina.
So there
she's
you
aging
go.
back where she's Benjamin Button.
She's Benjamin Button. We will get to all that. I've got a funny video from Rosie O'Donnell. This is good.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll play that one for you in just a second. Democrats are having fundraising issues. A California state senator says the quiet part out loud. An update on the quote-unquote trans community. And if we get to it, a disturbing story about that illegal Indian driver out of Florida who killed 3 people. But before we get to that, I want to get to a word from our friends over at OFP Farms. It's OFPFarms.com, OFPFarms.com. Promo code SHAWN for 15% off of your entire purchase. Explore the wonderful quality of Faith Farm and Freedom products with a special limited time 15% discount on your entire purchase. Take a peek at the lineup from OFP Farms, America's go-to company, their soap company. They're amazing. You know what yesterday also was? The 2-year anniversary of the Mona Lisa mugshots. What a perfect, beautiful thing. And this mugshot, this is Trump's mugshot on a bar of soap. That's right. OFP Farms puts Donald Trump's face on the outlaw soap because he's the outlaw president. So check it out at OFPFarms.com. They are America's go-to soap company. They're famous for their natural ingredients, their skin-loving perks of tallow and goat milk, and a big heart for farm-to-family skincare. Now, whether you're looking for gentle skincare or thoughtful gifts, OFP Farms Products brings together expert care and good values to make your daily routine that much better. Do not miss the chance to enjoy premium products that support your overall health and ethical choices for the whole family, including the Outlaw Soap, which will leave you... It smells awfully felonious in there. Smelling like a felon, OFPFarms.com. Use the promo code Sean, OFPFarms.com, the small family farm with big love. OFPFarms.com, promo code SHAWN for 15% off of your entire purchase. That is OFPFarms.com, promo code SHAWN, OFPFarms.com, promo code Sean for 15% off of your entire purchase. OFPFarms.com. You see it on your screen. Promo code SHAWN. All right, I promised you some Rosie. We'll get this over with now. I promised you some Rosie, so I will give you some Rosie. Oh, that's not Rosie. Oh, I'm sorry, I had to. That one just makes me laugh all the time. Oh, woo.
That's so weird.
I hate that. Well, actually, I don't hate her. I actually like her.
Yeah.
This lady. Yeah. It's nothing to hate.
No.
But it's
Everybody, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh. Okay, but I am going to play for you Rosie O'Donnell because this is just ridiculous. Here is Rosie O'Donnell. You look at her. She's wearing submarine portholes as glasses. You look at these big, beautiful glasses. Look at Rosie O'Donnell. You tell me what's wrong with this statement. Go ahead.
During his first go-round, it was very difficult, and I got myself into some bad places. You know, I was very, very depressed. I was overeating. I was over-drinking. I was so depressed, Chris. I can't, it hurt my heart that America believed the lies about him, and then it broke my heart to be in a business that creates and sells those lies for profit. It was...
So Rosie O'Donnell said Donald Trump caused her to overeat. I don't know. Kind of think she was overeating before Donald Trump became president, but that's just me. Rent-free. Donald Trump is rent-free in her head. She said earlier this year that, she was having trouble sleeping and couldn't get Xanax in Ireland. And it's all Donald Trump's fault that she's having trouble sleeping. Like, you moved away from him. He doesn't even talk about her that much anymore. And apparently it's still Donald Trump's fault. So Rosie O'Donnell with her submarine porthole glasses. Those are the telltale glasses, by the way. Every time you see a liberal wearing them, you know they're in for a transformation. You've got Jim Acosta who's starting to look very, very much like Rosie O'Donnell these days. Anyway, figured I'd play that for you. Did you know that Donald Trump is causing her to overeat? I love it. He's the source of everybody's problems, apparently. Okay, we'll get into the crime crackdown in a second because what Mamdani is pledging to do in New York City is really dangerous. And I do want to get into that with you and contrast that with what Donald Trump and the White House is doing across the country and what they are allowed to do, what they're not allowed to do, why I don't have a problem with this, but I will have a problem if things escalate past a certain point because, the Constitution does have limits and places limits on the federal government. Before we do that, I want to get to a word from our friends over at Silent. Let's face it, folks, as much as I love this thing, and I know you love it, we love to be connected and we love to share our lives and good content and funny stuff and serious stuff and breaking news and all that. This bad boy right here that I hold in my hand is absolutely a tracking device. Government agencies, big tech, corporate data brokers, even cyber criminals, they're all fighting for a piece of your digital footprint, and they're stealing it right from underneath your noses. They don't ask. They just take it. That is why Silent exists as a company. Silent makes Faraday gear that blocks all wireless signals, cellular signals, Wi-Fi signals, Bluetooth signals, GPS signals, RFID, and near-field communications. No signal means no tracking, no remote access, no breadcrumbs. It is the same technology that is used by special operations teams worldwide, used to block signals, avoid surveillance, and secure communications wherever the mission leads. And right now it is available to you to protect your family, to protect your freedom, and your digital footprint. Drop your phone in a Silent Faraday sleeve and it is off the grid. Completely silent, completely invisible to the outside world. From backpacks to sleeves to crossbody, Silent's patented technology gives you control of your privacy. And you can get a hold of it today at silent.com. It's slnt.com/Sean to get 15% off and free shipping on qualifying orders. That is Silent, slnt.com/SHAWN. Spell the name right. Silent.com/Sean. 15% off. Free shipping on qualifying orders. Silence the chaos and go silent today at silent.com. SLNT.com/SHAWN. Donald Trump cracking down on crime worldwide. Well, he wants to do it worldwide. Nobel Peace Prize. Nationwide. Donald Trump mobilizing the National Guard across 19 states to aid in law enforcement. Now, why is Donald Trump allowed to do this? We mentioned this months ago when he did this in Los Angeles. He is allowed to put the National Guard anywhere he wants as long as all they're doing is guarding federal property. The National Guard, when he federalizes them and when he mobilizes them, are under the authority of the federal government. Therefore, they are only allowed to operate on federal soil or federal property. Title 10 makes that explicit. They are not allowed to, listen to me, they are not allowed to conduct law enforcement operations in these cities due to posse comitatus, right? We've talked about this a bunch. We talked about this with Los Angeles. Everyone said it's unconstitutional. Donald Trump's deploying the military to arrest people. No. They are only allowed to arrest people in these situations when those folks who are being detained trespass on federal property, or if it's in self-defense, they're allowed to use reasonable force, equal force, to counter and address the threat. So, Donald Trump is planning to act in the following states: Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Louisiana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Mexico, Ohio, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Virginia, and Wyoming. I know where they're going in Tennessee. I know exactly where the National Guard's going to wind up in Tennessee. Nashville and Memphis. There's no two ways about it. The troops will be active in the states from August through mid-November, according to documents obtained by Fox News. Trump is deploying the National Guard to 19 states to curb crime and assist immigration enforcement. The presence of the National Guard troops in the states will serve as a visual deterrent against crime and will help in a sweeping effort to handle case management in the processing of illegal immigrants. Again, the processing of illegal immigrants is a federal operation. The National Guard is allowed to do that. The National Guard cannot patrol the streets in Nashville and arrest people. They can't do that, because Nashville is not federal property. However, the National Guard in Nashville, let's say at the post office or the Social Security Administration, maybe it's a federal courthouse, they are allowed to show their presence in those locations, because it is federal property and the National Guard are federal assets at this point. So the National Guard, now, if Governor Bill Lee in the state of Tennessee calls up the National Guard to assist in law enforcement operations, that's absolutely fine for the National Guard to then operate in that way, because that's a state level decision using the National Guard at the state level to conduct state level operations. So the thing here is to not, again, just like we said with the Texas derelict Democrats, I saw a bunch of people hyperventilating. Well, how come they're not in handcuffs? Because they were civil arrested. If you stop sensationalizing every freaking story and just read about what the procedures are, you wouldn't have these lofty expectations that were never going to be met. The same thing happened with the Los Angeles National Guard deployment. People are like, how come the National Guard are standing back and watching all of these riots? Why aren't they arresting people? Because they're not allowed to conduct law enforcement operations on U.S. soil unless the Insurrection Act is invoked, right? Posse Comitatus prohibits the United States military from acting on U.S. soil unless the Insurrection Act has been invoked. There's a couple of other criteria that can work out, but usually the Insurrection Act is the go-to when it comes to allowing the military to conduct operations on U.S. soil. The National Guard in these 19 states, in these troubled cities that are around in these 19 states, are going to serve as a visual deterrent, which I'm all in favor of. People will say, oh, well, if it's a visual deterrent, do you think it's going to provoke people to commit more crime? Well, I'd hope not. I'd hope not, seeing these soldiers standing by, lined up on the sidewalks of these federal buildings and assisting federal officers. I would hope that doesn't say to criminals, hey, go commit more crime. And I don't think it will. It may make them upset. It may get some negative press from, Donald Trump is militarizing cities, but he's not militarizing anything. He is using his constitutional authority to guard federal property and put the National Guard in front of federal property and assets in these cities. It is totally legal. And thank you, Gavin Newsom, right in California, who sued Donald Trump over this in court, lost, and set that very recent, very fresh precedent that says Donald Trump is allowed to do this under Title 10. Period. End of story. Move on. You can hyperventilate. You can clutch your pearls. You can breathe in and out of your paper bag. Donald Trump sent the military. What are we going to do? It's fascism. It's white supremacy. Like you could do that all you want. You could do that all you want. He is constitutionally authorized to do this. Now, I will be very upset, a little wary, a little like, back it up, guys. Let's dial it back. If the National Guard starts patrolling the streets and scooping people up, random, rioters, etc. Can't do that. Can't do that. Now, again, if they've been federally mobilized. Statewide, it's a different story. Depends on what the orders are from the governor of that state. Federally, they can't do that. And I wouldn't want them to do that. And I wouldn't want Trump to do that. Why? Why don't I want Donald Trump to tell the National Guard to arrest people on the streets of major cities? Because take Trump out of the equation right now. Okay, take him out of the equation. This isn't about Donald Trump. This is about the President of the United States. Think office. Think position. Don't think person, right? Think position. I don't want the President of the United States. It doesn't matter who it is. Doesn't matter what party he's from. Doesn't matter what planet he's from. I don't want the President of the United States to deploy a federalized military force to act against the citizens of the United States. I don't want that, because I know if that happens and it's ruled acceptable, when, not if, but when another Democrat becomes the president of the United States, or even a Republican who we don't agree with, they're going to do the same thing to us. And we don't want to be the reason why, we don't want to be, Frankenstein's doctor, right? That created this monster that escaped from the lab and now it's out of control. Okay, you don't want to be InGen and John Hammond from Jurassic Park, right? Where they create the dinosaurs with the best intentions and then you get eaten. That's not what you want, right?
No.
That's not what we want. So, what he's doing here to deploy them as a visual deterrent, perfectly legal, perfectly constitutional. I accept and approve, and I love it. I welcome that. I don't think the National Guard is going to act like a police force in these major metropolitan cities. At the end of the day, it is up to those cities and those mayors, whether it's Johnson in Chicago, whether it's Eric Adams in New York, or soon to be Zohran Mamdani, whether it's Latoya Cantrell, who just got indicted in New Orleans, I think it's Mayor Turner. I think it's her. Oh, Kara Spencer in St. Louis, Missouri, and so on and so forth. It is up to them. And really not up to them, but up to the people who live in those cities to demand that something be done. Demand that something be done to make their city safer. They have gone, I think it's 11 straight days in Washington, D.C. without a homicide. You would think, oh, that's not a long time. It's a very long time for Washington, D.C. 11 straight days without a homicide. Just so happens to coincide with Donald Trump taking federal control over Washington, D.C. and cleaning it up. Interesting, right? Interesting.
Just a coincidence.
Just a coincidence, I'm sure. Has nothing to do with Donald Trump actually, taking the initiative and trying. Just like the fact that there's been 0 illegal aliens crossing into the country or being released into the country. They're crossing, but they're being detained and held. Right? Just like that has nothing to do with Donald Trump being the president of the United States, I'm sure. Right? Just like that. Now, here's this one. Zohran Mamdani, as we show you what a tough on crime approach looks like, Donald Trump doing everything in his power to crack down and disincentivize criminal activity. Zohran Mamdani is pledging to end enforcement of misdemeanor crimes in New York City. Quote, for all the working class to achieve collective liberation. That's just straight up Marxism, guys. Listen to the way this guy talks, and he's going to win by a landslide in New York City. Like a total landslide. And I'm not telling anybody who's in New York City or in the area to stop fighting for Curtis Sliwa. I'm not. I'll never, ever, ever tell you to stop trying. I won't do that. I'm just saying for the rest of the country who sees a lot of the pom-pom waving and the people who are like, but Curtis, and I'm like, I know. He does a great job with animals, and he's done a phenomenal job he's put his life on the line for New York City. Yes, he should be the guy who gets elected. I agree. I'm just telling you, right? I'm just trying to be fair. Like it's probably not going to happen. Okay? I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. I'm just trying to keep your expectations realistic. It's what I'd like to do a lot on this show, right? Just like the Texas thing with the arrest warrants. We like to keep it in reality. The drones, the whole 9 yards. I like to keep this. We need to be very real about this because it's not going to be a letdown if and when Curtis loses. We are expecting it. This guy's a Marxist. Listen to the way he talks. For all the working class to achieve collective liberation, we must constrain, diminish, and abolish the carceral forces of the state. Frontrunner Zohran Mamdani in the New York City mayoral election backs the Democrat Socialists of America platform that calls for an end to the enforcement of misdemeanor crimes and a dismantling of traditional law enforcement practices. What do you think is going to happen when you do that? You know what happens when you end enforcement of any crime in any city where you do the cashless. Like this is cashless bail on steroids. You're not even going to be booked. You're not even going to be put in front of a judge over misdemeanor crimes anymore. It's just going to evaporate from the criminal code. What do you think is going to happen? Okay, why don't we do? I should have thought to do this before. Why don't we do this? Let's see. Why don't we do this? Let's ask, what are examples of misdemeanor crimes in New York City? Let's see. Let's see some of these crimes that Zohran Mamdani wants to stop enforcing. Okay. Class A misdemeanor, which is the most serious misdemeanors. Petite larceny, shoplifting or theft under $1,000. Assault in the third degree, causing physical injury without a weapon or serious harm. Zohran Mamdani said, no, we're not going to enforce that. Criminal possession of a controlled substance in the seventh degree, small amounts for personal use. Criminal mischief in the fourth degree, damaging property worth less than $250. Menacing in the second degree, threatening somebody with injury. Stalking in the fourth degree. Not going to enforce anything on stalking in the fourth degree, I'd say. Forgery in the third degree, signing or altering documents without authorization. Resisting arrest. carrying a knife or other prohibited weapon. Another prohibited weapon is a gun. I thought this is the party of gun control. Oh, okay. Here's some good ones. Here's some Class B misdemeanors. So again, Zohran Mamdani wants to abolish the enforcement of misdemeanor crimes in New York City. And we're going down the list right now of misdemeanor crimes in New York City. This is Class B misdemeanor, less serious than Class A misdemeanors, up to 3 months in jail. Zohran Mamdani banning enforcement of the crime of harassment in the first degree. Prostitution. Oh, that's good. That's good. New York City's just going to turn into Las Vegas. Buying or selling sex. Yeah, that's great. Let's not enforce that one. That ought to help. That ought to clean up New York City. It's just be an STD haven. You're going to ride the subway. You're going to come out with chlamydia. Public lewdness. Criminal trespass in the third degree, being unlawfully on certain property. Issuing a bad check under certain amounts. Fortune telling. That's actually a crime in New York City. Fortune telling. I don't really care, but that. Unclassified misdemeanors. Special statutes and penalties vary. This is a good one. Zohran Mamdani, again, pledging to end the enforcement of misdemeanor crimes in New York City. Would you like to know what a misdemeanor crime in New York City is? Driving while intoxicated. The first offense is a misdemeanor, not a felony. And Zohran Mamdani on that first offense is going to just not enforce it. How do you know when the second offense is if it's not documented that there was a first offense? So is driving while intoxicated now going to just be legal in New York City? My goodness, the taxi drivers have a hard enough time driving sober. I can't imagine these people in New York City driving drunk all the time because there's no crime. There's no penalty. This is going to be a big problem. Again, this guy wants you to believe, oh yeah, this is going to make everybody free. This is going to make the city a hellhole. Worse than it already is. The list of crimes that I just read for you: prostitution, assault in the third degree, carrying a knife or another prohibited weapon, resisting arrest, prostitution, driving while intoxicated, reckless driving, certain unlicensed firearm possession charges. All of these, the party of gun control, all of these misdemeanors are not going to be enforced in New York City under Zohran Mamdani if he has his way. What do you think is going to happen? When there is no deterrent and no consequences. When you're caught committing a crime, you're just incentivizing people to go commit more crimes. You're going to embolden people. Yeah, here's your speeding ticket, but you don't have to pay it. We want you to pay it, but if you don't pay it, nothing's going to happen to you. I take that ticket right in front of the officer and rip it up and throw it in his face. What do you think is going to happen? So, you have Donald Trump in Washington, D.C. saying, we're cracking down on all crime and we're cleaning it up. And you have a Marxist Muslim running for mayor in Manhattan, Zohran Mamdani, saying, we're going to stop the enforcement of very serious crimes in New York City because the people need to be collectively liberated. That is not compatible with the way the United States is supposed to run. Not in the slightest. You are going to stop enforcing DWI, first offenses of DWI in New York City. That's a misdemeanor. You're going to stop enforcing prostitution. You're going to stop enforcing assault, criminal penalties of assault in the third degree. This is shoplifting under $1,000. Someone steals $950 worth of stuff in New York City. You're not going to enforce that? That's just legal now? That ain't going to end well. And yet, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. He's going to win. He's going to win. If you are a Republican in New York City, hell, if you're a Democrat in New York City, you could be a radical left-wing Democrat and disagree with me on 99% of the issues. But if you and I agree on this one thing, you just want to live in a safe place, you have to leave New York City. You have to leave. How do you hear your next mayor saying things like this? Look up. It took 30 seconds. the serious nature of some of these crimes that are not going to be enforced if Zoran Mamdani has his way and say, I want to stay here. How do you do that? How do you walk outside of your overpriced apartment in New York City and feel safe with a guy like that calling the shots saying, oh yeah, you know what? Assault in the third degree. So if someone beats you up on the streets of New York City and it's deemed in the third degree, that's not a crime. They'll just do it again tomorrow. This is cashless bail on steroids. It's a problem, but he's going to win. You got to leave. I know it's easier said than done, but my goodness. That's bad. It's real bad. All right. We're going to, on the other side of this, I want to talk about Letitia James in just a second. Actually, well, we'll touch on Letitia James now. This is just crazy stuff. Letitia James has the nerve now, Sasquatch, to say that Donald Trump is weaponizing justice in the mortgage fraud case. Okay. Can you remind me, everybody in the chat, and Brennan, maybe you remember this from last week, who brought so there was a $500 million, this is including, interest and penalties, $500 million in fines that Donald Trump had to pay in the bogus civil fraud lawsuit that was, overseen and presided over by Judge Arthur Engoron. Who brought that case against Donald Trump in New York? Do you remember her name?
No, I don't know.
Sasquatch.
Oh, Letitia James.
That's right.
I knew that.
She knew that.
Yeah. I was just seeing.
And basically Hochul, at her direction. But yes. So Letitia James had a fine imposed on Donald Trump of $500 million. An appeals court in New York just ruled that fine is excessive and unconstitutional. That literally means she weaponized justice against Donald Trump. That literally means that the verdict and the penalty in the case being excessive was a constitutional violation. Donald Trump's 8th Amendment rights. That's actual proof of weaponization against your political opponent. We are now seeing that Letitia James lied on mortgage applications, said that her father was her husband. She's not even married. We all could see why. Okay? I mean, who would really go near that? All right? Who would really want to hitch yourself to that for life? Nobody. And she wants to say now that she got caught lying on mortgage applications, lying about how many dwellings the unit had, lying about where her primary residence was. Lying about, now she wants to say that's weaponization. You lied and got caught. That's not weaponization. You literally just got caught weaponizing justice against Trump. Ed Martin's on that case. Ed Martin's also on the Shifty Schiff case, which is hysterical. Because had Adam Schiff kept his big watermelon head mouth shut, and had Ed Martin been confirmed as the U.S. attorney out of D.C., Ed Martin wouldn't be the special prosecutor, special counsel that's currently looking for indictments in the Schiff and Letitia James civil fraud, mortgage fraud case. Oops. Whoops. Sorry, Adam Schiff. Another joke. All right, let's get to a word from our friends over at Patriot Mobile. I love PatriotMobile.com. PatriotMobile.com/FARASH. PatriotMobile.com/Farish. For those of you in the chat who have Patriot Mobile, sound off. Let everyone know how much you love Patriot Mobile. Look, I get it. There's a lot of choices for cell phone service with new ones popping up all the time. I was just saying this to Brennan the other day. I remember when it was just Boost Mobile, Metro PCS, and Cricket. Mm-hmm. Now you've got, there are so many choices, which is good because competition is better, right? We love competition. But you got a lot of choices. But here is the truth. There's only one that boldly stands in the gap for every American that believes that freedom is worth fighting for. And that is Patriot Mobile. The good news is you can switch to Patriot Mobile today without sacrificing quality or service. If you're worried about coverage, don't be worried. Patriot Mobile uses all 3 major U.S. networks. If you've got service in this country today, you will have as good or better coverage with Patriot Mobile when you switch tomorrow. If you think switching is a hassle, it's not. You can keep your number, you can keep your phone, or you can upgrade. Patriot Mobile's 100% U.S.-based team will get you activated in minutes from the comfort of your own home. If you're worried about contracts, if you're stuck in one, or you owe money on your current phone with those device installment plans, don't worry. Patriot Mobile also has a contract buyout program. This is how you win, folks, by aligning your spending with your values. Every dollar we spend matters, and where we spend it matters. Go to patriotmobile.com/Farish or call 972-PATRIOT. Use the promo code Farish, Farash, and get a free month of service. Switch today. That is patriotmobile.com/Farash, patriotmobile.com/Farish, patriotmobile.com/Farash. Okay, let's get on to, I want to get into this one. This is, here's Kilmar Abrego Garcia. I'm going to take a quick break here. Kilmar had a press conference and a little rally outside of the ICE facility in Maryland today. As he turned himself in, he may be getting deported to Uganda. Uganda, get out of my country. Okay? See you later. Here's Kilmar Abrego Garcia's little press conference from the Patriot Oasis on X. Watch and listen to this, and you tell me what your biggest issue is with this one. I'll tell you what mine is.
Sisters, brothers and sisters, my name is Kilmar Abrego Garcia, and I want you to remember this. Remember that I am free, and I was able to be reunited with my family.
Un milagro, gracias a Dios y gracias a toda la comunidad.
This was a miracle. Thank you to God, and thank you to the community power.
Y por eso quiero decirles las gracias a cada uno de ustedes que marcharon, levantaron sus voces y oraron y nunca dejaron de creer y luchar por mi libertad.
And this is why I want to thank each and every one of you who marched, lift your voices, never stopped praying, and continued to fight in my name.
Gracias a mi pareja de vida, mi esposa Jennifer, mi hermano César, mi madre Cecilia y toda mi familia.
Thank you to my life partner and wife Jennifer, to my brother Cesar, to my mother Cecilia, to my children, to my nieces and nephews, to all of my family.
Gracias a casa, mi segunda casa, a mi sindicato SMART, a todos los pastores, a todas las iglesias.
That's enough. That's enough. I see everybody in the chat is already, there it is. Look at the whole chat saying it. The guy's been in the country for 14 years. He can't speak English without a translator.
Well, he's probably only got 2 brain cells, so he probably can't really learn much.
I'm sure he's great on the roads.
That sounded like a toot.
What? I think it was my foot down there. Wank. Yeah, it's the chair. We got chair farts are back. There we go.
Where's Matthias?
Where's Matthias? Remember when this chair used to be super squeaky?
That was a rough time.
Yeah, it was crazy. There you go. All these people clapping from, oh, you're so brave. Yeah, go be brave in the jungles of Costa Rica. Out to Uganda with you. Uganda, get out of here. Out. Afuera. Out. Get him out. Now, they're trying to block his deportation. I think they might be successful because it's in front of an Obama judge. I've had enough of this guy. It's like he won't go away. He's like an STD. This guy just won't go away. Get him out. Okay? He's an illegal alien. He does not know the language of the country. You've been here for 14 years. It looks like he's made no attempt, none whatsoever, to even learn English. And you need to translate. Just rid us of this disease, please. Mm-hmm. Did you just call a human being a disease? Yes. Kilmar Abrego Garcia is a disease. Get him out. Out of the country. I've had enough. I've heard enough. I don't want to deal with him anymore. All right. The Democrats are having a hard time, folks. They're having a real hard time these days with money. They're going to soon be spotted begging on the sidewalk. Spare change! Spare change! The Democrat Party having a hard time with the almighty dollars. People don't want to donate right now. No magic fixes for Democrats right now, as you see on Breitbart, as the party is confronting internal and fundraising struggles. Their new chairman, Ken Martin, he's having a hard time right now. Hundreds of Democrat officials gather in Martin's Minneapolis hometown on Monday for the first official DNC meeting since he became the chairman. There's evidence that Martin's fight may extend well beyond the current occupant of the Oval Office. Big Democrat donors are unhappy with the direction of their own party and not writing checks. Political factions are fragmented over issues such as the Israel-Hamas war, which I think we called on like October 12th. I said, this is going to destroy this party. And it did. 2023, October 12th, 2023. The party's message is murky. Key segments of the Democrat base, working class voters and young people among them, have drifted away, and there is deep frustration. The Democrat Party under Ken Martin's leadership is not doing enough to stop the Republican president, no matter how tough his rhetoric may be. Quote, there are no magic fixes, said Gianna Repass, the chair of the Kansas Democrat Party, who praised Martin's performance so far. Quote, he's trying to lead at a time where everyone wants it to be fixed right now, and it's just not going to happen. At his 3-week summer meeting, DNC officials hope to make real progress on reversing the sense of pessimism and frustration that has consumed Democrats since Republicans seized the White House and control of Congress last fall. The committee's financial situation is weak compared with the opposition's. The most recent federal filings reveal the Democrats the DNC has only $14 million in the bank at the end of July compared with Republican National Committee's $84 million. Now, it's a $70 million margin, difference. But I urge you not to get complacent. We know not to get complacent. We know the Democrats have loyal, sycophantic voters. We know they cheat. We know that no matter what happens, they'll play the orange man bad card and get people out to the polls. But this is a major issue. They are bleeding out right now. And unlike 2018, when the same sort of pessimism was surrounding the Democrat Party, 2017, 2018, in that election cycle, right? Unlike 2018, think of this. What don't the Democrats have right now? Two big things that they had in 2017, 2018 that they don't have right now. Okay? In 2017, 2018, the Democrats had a fresh, viable, in the minds of many, including independents, Russia hoax, right? They had Russia. They're investigating Donald Trump. Special counsel investigation. They pounded that day in and day out that Donald Trump was an illegitimate president. The only reason he beat Hillary Clinton was because he worked in tandem with Vladimir Putin and the Kremlin, right? So they had that. They had planted those seeds of doubt about Donald Trump's legitimacy in the minds of the American people, including independents who still got their news from, and this is item number 2, the mainstream media. The mainstream media 10 years ago, or about 8 years ago, had much more influence and control over the narrative than they do today. That is because of the decentralization of information. Thanks to platforms like Rumble, thanks to platforms like X, thanks to people who grew a set, who became emboldened to speak out online and not be afraid of getting banned, and these platforms that started to pop up everywhere that allowed anybody to come in and speak their mind within the confines of the law, like Rumble, like X, like Gab, like Getter, like so many places, right? Thanks to the decentralization of information, the left no longer has the mainstream media to gaslight. They still have it, but it's not nearly as powerful. They don't have nearly the amount of influence and control over the narrative that they used to have. And they don't have that fresh scandal. They tried it with Epstein. It didn't work. Not that nobody, and people are going to say, I still care. I'm not saying you're nobody. I'm saying it's not a significant number of people that's going to influence the election right now is what I'm saying. They tried it, okay? They tried that hoax. They tried the Kilmar hoax. They've tried so many different all these different hoaxes, right? About, this guy got deported illegally. Trump deported a toddler. Epstein files. Right? All of these, now they're looking at a bruise on his hand. Donald Trump's got a bruise on his hand. This is a group of people, by the way, who didn't care that the last president couldn't stand upright for more than 5 minutes. But now they want to talk about Trump's hand being bruised? Give me a break. Right? Give me a break. This is a huge variable that is missing from the equation this year. In 2018, the DNC could have solicited donations saying, we're going to get to the bottom of this Russia thing. We're going to impeach Donald Trump. They ran on it. Rashida Tlaib impeached the mother, right? Remember that? In 2018, they ran on it in that midterm cycle. They got fundraising for it in that midterm cycle. It was the Russia hoax. It was the media. It was that emotional play. Your president right now is illegitimate. He stole the election. Donate to us. We'll fix it. We'll fix it. They don't have that. They don't have that this go around. I'm not saying we're going to win 90 seats in the midterms. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, I think the Democrats are in more trouble than many people are letting on, and it is up to us, all of us, to continue to drive that wedge. And please, please, I know everything's not going to get fixed like this, but we've got to be better. We've got to be better at celebrating the small wins. John Bolton's house gets raided, let's say, for instance, last week. And people were like, yeah, well, he's not arrested yet. This doesn't mean anything. You were just screaming yesterday about how come nobody's been raided. Somebody gets raided. Now it's like, well, how come he hasn't been arrested? Can we please, I'm not saying that every time we get a small win, it's like we just won the championship. But my goodness, in a football game, you don't score a touchdown on every play. Sometimes you got to celebrate gaining 7 yards on first down. And we just... because that's going to drive the Democrats nuts. It's going to help us win. What else is going to help us win is this idea of redistricting. And J.D. Vance sat down with Kristen Welker and schooled her again. I don't know why. They keep letting J.D. Vance on these shows. They should just say, we don't want the vice president anymore, because every time they do, class is in session, and J.D. Vance just takes these people to task. Watch this with Kristen Welker.
You have to ask yourself, why have Democrats gerrymandered their states aggressively over the past 10 to 20 years? If you look, for example, at the popular vote in a lot of these states, and Massachusetts, where 32% of the residents of Massachusetts voted for Republicans, 0 Republican federal representatives. So we're not trying to all we're doing, frankly, is trying to make the situation a little bit more fair on a national scale. The Democrats have gerrymandered their states really aggressively. We think there are opportunities to push back against that, and that's really all we're doing.
That's it, pushing back against the egregious gerrymandering and, congressional maps that the Democrats have put in place over the last couple of decades. This comes, by the way, as a California Democrat state senator says the quiet part out loud. Yes, we must count the illegals in the census. Is it any wonder? Is it any wonder why the Democrats are having problems fundraising? Because they're not appealing to regular Americans anymore. Quote, if the census that we're relying on for the commission's next stab at redistricting doesn't include 1.5 million, he didn't say illegal immigrants in California, but this is what he's alluding to. We have no democracy left, argued California State Senator Christopher Calbadon. Christopher Calbadon, don't you dare. In a heated debate on the floor of the California State Senate, Democrat Senator Christopher Calbadon argued that the state would lose its democracy if approximately 1.5 illegal immigrants were deported and excluded from future census counts used for redistricting. If your cousin is kidnapped off the street, if the census that we're relying on for the commission's next stab at redistricting doesn't include 1.5 million, we have no democracy left, said Senator Calbadon. And there you go. There you go. That's all it's about. It's not about giving a better life to illegal aliens and immigrants. It's about power. How many times does this need to be explained? We get it. The radical left, we're not going to change their minds. I am talking to the malleable middle, okay? Who gets preyed on via their emotions. Oh man, these people just want a better life. Now they're being sent to Uganda. That's not nice. They're not. First of all, a lot of the people that are coming here aren't coming here for a better life and the betterment of the United States, to provide something to the country. That's number one. But number two, the Democrats don't give a rat's ass if these people get a better life or not. He just admitted it in his speech. If it doesn't include 1.5 million, and he's talking about undocumented immigrants, right? This is illegal aliens, then it's not accurate. It is accurate. They can't even vote. You don't represent them. They're not legal citizens. They're not legally present in the United States. You don't represent them. All you want is their warm body to be counted in the census. This is, again, I've said this, this is the same party, the same group of people, the slave owners, when the Constitution was being drafted, who said, our property are people when it's convenient, but their property when it comes to giving them rights to do everything else, right? This was the whole thing, the Virginia Compromise, the 3/5 Compromise, etc. You know, people say, hey, if you count your slaves as property, then they don't count as people. And, oh, no. Well, we want more representation in Congress. So they're people, but they're people that are property. We can't have it both ways. They tried to have both ways with the 3/5 Compromise. We get it. This is exactly what the left is doing with these illegals now. They look at them as political property. Those are ours. That's our population. Look, we have 1.5 million more people than we're supposed to have. Therefore, we get more congressional seats. They're hoarding the sanctuary city. They're not giving these people sanctuary. They're hoarding them. They're adding them to their tallies. They're adding they're going in. You know, you ever see like when a kid busts open a pinata and there's that one kid who's just like, all of this is mine, and they're just taking it all. That's what they're doing. That's all that's going on.
Okay, I have to interrupt.
What happened?
Eli wants you to check your email. Trump is signing executive orders. It's going live. I know it always messes up our show.
Oh, I'm not going to be able to put that up now.
I know, but I just was told to tell you, so I have to.
Okay.
Because I don't want to not.
Trump is signing executive orders. See, the problem is I can't, for some reason, the Rumble links don't work in my OBS setup, so I'm going to have to find YouTube or something. I have to use the YouTube link. So... all right, I'll try and do that in a second if I can. Yeah, the White House. It says it will begin shortly. It's not even going yet. It says it will begin shortly. Oh, he is there. Okay, he actually is there. All right, let me see if I can get that.
Just put the screen on your screen?
No, because it doesn't work that way. Okay. All right, let me see if I can get that in a second. Before we do that, let me get to word from our friends at My Patriot Supply, mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned, mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the best way to get prepared in this crazy time. MyPatriotSupply.com/ungoverned. The summer's not just hot. It is historic. Flash flood warnings are at a 40-year high, and it's not slowing down. Towns are underwater. Roads are washed out. And in every crisis zone, the same scene is what you see. Crowds are standing in line waiting for bottled water, waiting for food, waiting for somebody to show up and save them. They tell you that help is on the way, but what if it isn't? What if help takes days? Or what if it doesn't come at all? If you think the system is built to protect you, it is not. They can barely handle one emergency, let alone dozens. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want to be the one caught empty-handed. And right now, My Patriot Supply is giving away 4 weeks of emergency food. Just go to mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned to find out how to claim your free 4-week food supply and join millions of Americans who are preparing with My Patriot Supply. Get your 4-week kit today at mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. That is mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. This is a 25-year shelf life. This kit's got a 25-year shelf life, 2,000 calories a day. It is the 3-month with a free month promotion at mypatriotsupply.com. That is mypatriotsupply.com. Promo code ungoverned, mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. All right, I'm going to try and get this to work. Every time I do this, I know I get burned, but we're going to try and get this to work here to get the, what do you call it? The Trump executive order thing. He's out there talking about the executive orders right now. So I'm going to try and get this to work as we close out the show. Bear with me because this may not work. So we will try it. It's tough to do this stuff on the fly. It's a lot easier to do it when we know it's coming, but the White House has an issue with communicating. So let's see. Here we go. Let's go to this. I think we're going to have it. And if I open up that, we should have let's try it. Let's go over to this and see if we can get to the Trump press conference. Are you ready? We're ready to try it? Let's try it. There he is. Do you guys hear it? Of course you don't. No, we don't hear it. Let's see if I can get this once again I think I have it muted. That's why. Let's try this. Yes.
When
There you go.
we saved Los Angeles. You wouldn't have been able to have the Olympics in Los Angeles. You're barely able to have it now. They did lose 25,000 houses to a fire that should have never occurred because they didn't let the water come down from the Pacific Northwest, which you guys don't want to write about. I had to break into the water supply to let the water down. And even now, we want more. We can have much more. It's less than half of what should be coming in. I don't know, they have a political thing about it. It's like the craziest thing I've ever seen. But I don't like going to a town, city, place, a state, and then be criticized by some corrupt or incompetent governor where crime is rampant. Like, take a look at D.C. Crime was rampant. It was at the all-time worst. It got really bad during the Biden 4 years. And then I have a mayor stand up and say how crime has reached a 30-year low. 30-year low. People are being killed left and right. And it's not a 30-year low. Think of it. So for 11 days, there have been no murders. The record goes back years where that's happened. They haven't seen that happen in years. And then people stand up, and instead of thanking us, which they should do, and she's not that bad. She's better than most. But, you have people. I watched in Illinois. Chicago, Illinois is a disaster. I have property there. It's a disaster what's going on in Chicago. And you get Pritzker. He's violating our rights. I think this is another men and women's sports thing. I think this is one of those, they call them 80-20 issues. I call them 97-3. I think the Democrats better get smart. And, politically, I hope they don't. But actually, in terms of love for the country, I hope they do, because it would be good to work together. So I'm thinking about, when I have some slob like Pritzker criticizing us before we even go there. I made the statement that next should be Chicago because, as you all know, Chicago's a killing field right now. And they don't acknowledge it. And they say, we don't need him. Freedom, freedom. He's a dictator. He's a dictator. A lot of people are saying maybe we like a dictator. I don't like a dictator. I'm not a dictator. I'm a man with great common sense, and I'm a smart person. And when I see what's happening to our cities, and then you send in troops, instead of being praised, they're saying you're trying to take over the republic. These people are sick. But I'm really saying, and I say this to all of you, in a certain way we should wait to be asked, because they have cities that are so under control, out of control. So we go in and fix it. They take the full credit for it, and they go out and say, I heard it this morning, they're saying how well they've done over the last 10-day period, that they set record lows. They don't say that we're there with very tough people, by the way. They have to pass the toughness test. Otherwise, they're not working for us. So, and we're allowed to do that now according to the United States Supreme Court decision. Now, they have to pass the toughness test. If they're not tough, we don't want them for this job. They might be great for other jobs, but not for this job, because they're respected. You saw the gang of kids. They were all huddled up, and a group of soldiers walked up. They never even got over. Those kids ran back to their homes or wherever the hell they came from.
All right, Donald Trump's executive order press conference. I'm talking over him. Donald Trump, Donald Trump executive order press conference will be coming up next. Jeremy Harrell for the next 3 hours. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Jeremy coming up next with Donald Trump's press conference and executive orders. We will see you tomorrow morning.